welcome back to another episode of Popcorn Heroes.
Yeah.
With me, as always, is Pedro.
Hello.
What's up, man? And I am your host, Orlando.
Hi, Orlando.
Hey, how you doing? So for today, guys, we're going to review Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes, Tarantino's 9th film out of his 10-film plan. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't believe it.
You don't think he's going to end at 9?
No, I think he'll go way past 10.
Oh, okay, cool.
He's saying he's gonna do 10 and he's done, but I don't believe it. But
we'll see. So like always, guys, we are going to give a quick spoiler-free review. But first, before that, a synopsis of the show, of the movie.
Okay.
And then we're going to give a quick spoiler-free review. And then we're going to jump into spoilers. Take it away, our synopsis guy, Pedro.
All right. So this movie takes place in 1969 in L.A., and it follows an aging actor named Rick Dalton, played by Leo DiCaprio, and his stunt double Cliff Booth, played by Brad Pitt. And it pretty much follows them in Hollywood at this time, and it just kind of showcases the era and what it's like to be in Hollywood in that time. It's pretty much a love letter to the 60s in L.A., and it also happens to be around the same time as the Manson family stuff is going on. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty much. All right, so we're going to jump into reviews now. What do you think, Pedro? 1 out of 5 review.
I give it a 4 out of 5. I really liked it. Definitely the climax of the film was by far the best part, but
agreed.
I did like the slow build. It was a slow burn to it, and I almost forgot what the movie was about, honestly, because it just felt like I was like in it. Like I was completely encased in the 60s. Like the everything that he did, the music, the way it was filmed, the conversations, it felt, obviously I don't know shit about the 60s because I didn't live that, but it just felt authentic to me. So it was really nice to see that, and I thought the two leads were like really strong. Their bromance was like on fucking point, and yeah, it was my favorite Tarantino movie in a while because I felt he didn't know how to end his movies lately, and this one to me like was good shit. So yeah, 4 out of 5.
Yeah, that's a good number. I give it a 3 out of 5. Okay. I liked it. I agree with everything you're saying. I thought their chemistry was on point. I really liked their their bromance, their buddy thing they had going on. I love what the movie is, like a love letter to that year. Mm-hmm. Like the biggest character is that year.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
And yeah, for all the reasons of, except everything you said, I liked it, but it was just way too long for me.
I could see that.
It dragged way too much.
It is 2 hours and 41 minutes.
Yeah, it dragged way too much.
You guys better pee before you go.
Yeah,
treat it like you treated Endgame.
And of course, like Tarantino, like with the Manson family being involved and everything, you would think something would happen, whatever. But I wanted more of the ending of the movie, more the ending to be in the movie. Okay. And so when we get to spoil, we'll talk about that. Mm. But yeah, overall good movie. Just a bit too long. Honestly, like I was falling asleep towards the end, but I could appreciate it. I saw it late. I saw it at 10.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I could appreciate what the movie is. Mm-hmm. Like even if I don't fully love it, I can understand why people like it because it is throwback to that time.
Yeah, you can see what he was going for.
Yeah,
it was definitely very different from his usual stuff.
Yeah,
but at the same, yeah. Alrighty then, that pretty much covers our spoiler-free parts. After this,
yeah, I would say if you guys like Tarantino's movies, check it out. It's a good movie. I don't love it. I don't think it's one of his best, but it's a good movie overall.
Okay. Yeah, definitely Tarantino fans should watch this for sure. Just people that are really into movies, especially movies of that era. You can see a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of actors from that era. Yeah. And stuff like that.
I just feel like it was like an Art Deco movie. Like, and Tarantino movies, they are like Art Deco movies, but some are different. Some feel like more grand. Yeah. This felt like an Art Deco movie. This felt like I should be sitting at like an art theater.
Yeah,
like,
just I can see what you're saying. This is pretty much just a show off of like, man, look how awesome LA was in the 60s.
Right,
like,
right.
Check it out. Oh, check this out. Check this out too. Look at the drive-in theater. Look how cool this is.
Yeah.
Check out the music. The music's the best. Yeah. It pretty much was like, hey, this place is better.
Yeah. So yeah, let's jump into our spoiler section.
Yeah, like right into it.
Yeah. So like I was saying, the ending. So the ending with the Manson kids going up and
right.
Causing trouble, basically.
Yeah.
And I thought
this was gonna happen. This is it.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die. Booth's character, Brad Pitt's character.
Okay, yeah. I'm curious what you thought first, and then I'll tell you what I thought.
I thought he was gonna die at first. I thought he was gonna like get murdered.
Especially after he took the acid, you're like, oh man, his defenses are down.
Yeah, and
he's fucked.
And I loved it. I loved how like the dog was just waiting for his command the whole time.
Yeah, I was almost thinking the same. Like, oh shit, he's gonna die, and the dog's not gonna do anything because he's waiting for the command or something. Yeah. And
I liked how like he just like took them all out. I just wanted more of that because it was such a. Cause you see Charlie Manson in the beginning of the movie.
Yes.
And you see the Manson family technically without Charlie there.
Yeah, throughout the whole movie, the Manson family's constantly there.
Yeah, throughout the whole movie.
His followers, the crazy girls, and all.
Yeah,
and so on.
They're all through the whole movie. So you think that more craziness was gonna happen, but it wasn't until the end. And I just wanted more of that.
Right.
Yeah.
See, I'm okay with that because I knew going into this movie that he had said he didn't want to glorify it, and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, if he doesn't want to glorify it, the movie's gonna show it has Sharon Tate. It's got the Manson family. It's obviously going to show her murder, and it's Tarantino, so it's probably going to be gory. But they kept mentioning they didn't want to, like romanticize that time. And you could tell because Charlie Manson was practically a cameo. Like, he came out, said hi, and that's it. He was never seen again.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to make him seem cool.
Yeah.
And every time they made them seem kind of cool, they would immediately show creepy shit to make you go, oh, yeah, these are fucking, like, psycho hippies. Like, the movie constantly kept insulting them. Like, fucking hippies, like they were just the crazy ones. So I could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to set it up to maybe be that because the whole movie, I felt the suspense every time there was anything Manson related. Like especially when Brad Pitt goes to the movie set.
Yeah, the old set. Yeah,
there was so much tension in that scene for
sure,
me.
yeah.
I was like, oh shit. Oh wait, he's cool. He's being cool with them. Wait a minute, now he's asking the questions. Oh shit, what the fuck is going on here? And then he's being real like stubborn to get into the house, and I'm like, oh man, these bitches are gonna kill him.
Yeah, because all the girls are right behind him, and they look like they're gonna murder him. Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew the gist of the Manson family, but I didn't really get into the history. Now I'm listening to a podcast that breaks it down, and yeah, if I would have known that, I would have known from the get go that guy's alive. The one that he was gonna get into. To visit.
George.
Yeah.
Right.
The one that's blind and
so that happens in the
Yeah, the guy was there. He was practically blind, and he let the Manson family like live there because he was pretty much getting sex from like the women.
Right.
So, but just the suspense in that scene, I was like, holy shit, like this is gonna fucking go nuts. But yeah, nothing really does happen, and every time they show it, they showed Brad Pitt as the quintessential American hero, just like destroy them. Like the guy, it's like, oh, you popped my tire, and he just fucking made him into a baby.
Yeah.
And then fix my tire for me, or I'll fuck you up. And I'm like, damn. So it really was. So that's what makes it seem like it's a love letter to movies, because he is the quintessential action hero, like what movies make.
Right.
And then it totally obliterated what the gang is with them.
Right. Because they're so prominent, especially at the time. They're basically like a group of murderers, and then he pretty much brings them down a couple pegs.
But nowadays, with the legend and the stories of all this, people really put them like on a pedestal. Like people worship.
Sure.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, fuck the man. Like these guys did great. And then this movie was pretty much saying, no, they're fucking crazy killers. And because the power of movies, I could change whatever fucking thing I want, like I did with Hitler, and we're just gonna kill them and save the day.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a brilliant fucking twist. I do agree with you. It would have been nice to see more of that. But what I did see, it was so over the top that I was like, I'm good. As soon as he pulled out that flamethrower, I was I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is absolutely fucking amazing. Especially since he was just chilling the whole time.
The thing is like that, because for the most part, like the movie, it feels like a Tarantino movie and then it also doesn't. At least for me, 'cause I'm not a huge Tarantino fan. I don't watch all his movies.
but you've seen Kill Bill, so you know how exaggerated it
right,
can get.
exactly. And then when that part happened, when like the Manson family gets fucking like not the whole family, but like those three stooges basically get fucking killed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm just like, okay, this feels like Tarantino. Like
So
that's what I meant. Like,
okay.
In terms of action, that's what I meant. Like Tarantino's like action. Because most of the time, most of the movies I've seen involve like heavy action, like Reservoir Dogs.
Whoa. Reservoir Dogs only has action in the middle and the end. Like,
yeah, but that's a long, but it's a few minutes.
Yeah.
It's longer than than what this movie is.
I mean, Tarantino to me, to everybody, is the dialogue, and there were lots of good like dialogue.
Yeah, of course,
pieces.
yeah.
Like the Bruce Lee scene. Like, I know there's a little bit of controversy about it, I guess, because Bruce Lee's daughter didn't like the scene.
What's the controversy?
That she pretty much went to the theater to watch the movie, and she just heard everybody laughing at her dad, and she's like, I don't like that. My dad like fought 3 times as hard as anyone to try to make it into movies.
Yeah.
So that he could become his own man, and then they made him like a caricature.
Oh, okay, I get it.
And she's like, on one end, I didn't like that, and on the other end, I can understand because everyone's a caricature in this movie. Everyone,
right, yeah,
there were stereotypes of everything there.
Yeah.
You had the action star. You had the
Western guy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And but yeah, I actually ended up really liking that scene. Like, yeah, it was a little fucking crazy because I'm thinking, would he have been able to beat Bruce Lee?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean,
it's a bit out there, especially for sure. And it's funny because I was talking to someone about I play UFC a lot, and I was talking to one of my friends, and Bruce Lee is in the game.
No shit.
Yeah, but he doesn't really do. He's not an MMA fighter.
He came out in a Fight Night game.
Yeah.
And he fights Muhammad Ali in the Fight Night game. So,
that's crazy.
So that's why when he's talking all that Cassius Clay talk, I'm like, they did this in the game.
Oh,
so,
really? That's interesting. So it was funny because my friend was just like, Bruce Lee probably would get his ass whipped now, because like now it's like people are like they have multiple like ways of fighting,
and also they've learned from him and many others.
Exactly.
I could see that. It's kind of like how people are like, "Oh, Babe Ruth is great." It's like, yeah, but
not
now.
Yeah, not
Babe
now.
Ruth was great for the time. I could agree with that.
Same thing with basketball. Like basketball now, like everybody can shoot threes. Back then, it wasn't like that. Like
right,
now,
exactly.
everyone's a shooter. Like So it's interesting that at least with the controversy is like you could understand that he's a caricature, but you could also like get that it's a movie as well. Like you're not too close to home.
Right.
Another criticism that I felt that was, not that the Bruce Lee one is unwarranted. I guess I see where she's coming from.
It's also her dad. So
it's also her dad. Like you're too close to home.
Right. It's a soft spot. I could totally see that.
Yeah, I could see where you could.
Especially if like my dad's my hero, and then the whole theater's laughing at him. I'd be pissed too. I could see that.
I could see it.
It's warranted.
The one I was that I was reading about was people were complaining about the Margaret Robbie's character.
Right.
Having enough scene dialogue.
Yeah, but
it's not
her movie.
Yeah, and the thing is it's like every time she was like a lot of her scenes, she was by herself. Like she was watching a movie for
which I love those scenes.
Yeah, she was watching the movie by herself. She was like driving by herself. Mm-hmm. Like she was getting ready. Like no one talks to themselves.
Yeah, I love that.
Often.
She goes to the theater to visit to watch the movie The Wrecking Crew because she noticed it was across the street from like her agent or something. She's like, damn, my movie's showing, so she decides to go see it and watch the crowd react to her scenes. I actually thought it was a really nice scene. And I liked it too because, again, going back to not romanticizing the killers, it focused on her and made her a likable character. Like, you look at that, and it was actually like a wholesome scene. You're like, oh, look at her. Like, how happy she is that she's seeing people, like, be happy looking at her.
Right.
So it's like, damn, she really was this, like, genuinely good person.
Yeah.
You know, like, it really humanizes the victim. And people going into this movie are already thinking, shit, now she's going to have to die? Like, fuck, this is going to suck, you know? So I really like that the movie did that. Yeah, they didn't give her maybe talking scenes, but they gave her human scenes, like, a lot, I felt. I
don't know that story, the actual story. So what do you mean that so in real life she died?
Yes.
So I guess instead of going to, like, Cliff Boom's house or whatever, they go up to her house and kill her?
Yeah, so pretty much when Manson visits their house, in that house, a music producer used to live there, and Manson was going to make a record deal with him. And when he goes to the house, he's like, this guy isn't there anymore. So he kind of goes crazy, like, man, fuck stardom. I'm going to kill them, and I'll be famous, a whole other way. Or, send my people to kill them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he sends his followers, kill everyone in so-and-so's house, which happens to be Sharon Tate's house. So that's why they're outside with their loud-ass car waiting. What Tarantino flipped the script on was, hey, what if my characters were next door? What would happen? And that's when Leo's like, goddamn hippies with your loud fucking car. And then it switches the attention to him. And that's when they have their conversation like, what if we kill our heroes that taught us to kill? And that was the total like diversion in the timeline.
Oh, nice.
So from that moment on, so he essentially rescued them by putting the attention on him, and then they killed them, and that's the end of it. And it's like, holy crap, they never died, because that's what made that murder was what made the Manson family famous. So after that, they killed the very next day as well, and then that's when all the other shit happened.
Right.
So they pretty much stopped the Manson family in their tracks, and it was like, haha, fuck you, you hippies, you know, we're the best. So. It like that's why I said as well. It's a love letter to the movies. Like Hollywood won this fight. So
that's a pretty good story.
Yeah. So when you know the history, because I watched it with my wife, with Shanti, and she did not know the history about any of this stuff.
Right.
So she's just watching the movie, and she's like, "Who's this character? Who's this? Who's this?" I'm hoping the movie's gonna explain it to me, but it doesn't. The movie treats it like you're supposed to know this already. You know. So
you should know the history.
Right. It's not a beginner friendly movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like. After you watch it, obviously, because you're listening to this part, so you're listening to the spoilers. But after this part, you should look into, you know, the general history of it. It was a very gruesome death. Like it's bad, but it's kind of nice to see. So this movie is almost like it's pretty much a fantasy. The same way that Inglourious Basterds is a fantasy of like, haha, the Jews get to kill the Nazis. Yeah. It was a total like power fantasy of that, of like a revenge. This is also a revenge thing as well.
Okay, yeah.
It's the fantasy of like, man. She's safe, and you know everyone else that was there. So that's kind of why I overall liked it, because I always hate in the news when like a serial killer or like a shooter happens and everyone starts fucking talking about the shooter and all that shit. And I'm just
constantly,
you know, and it's like now you just turned him into a legend.
Yeah, it never dies.
So this movie pretty much said fuck Manson, fuck his followers, and bam, there it is.
Yeah.
So on that standpoint, that's one reason why I really enjoy it as well. And of course, there's the characters. I fucking loved Brad Pitt and Leo's character.
Yeah,
I love that Leo like stutter a lot whenever he's like freaking out.
Yeah. Like when he goes into like
it was subtle at first, and then it was like every time he's like freaking out, that's when he'll start stuttering. Like when he's talking to Al Pacino's character, he's like, "Did you watch my movies?" You know.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, oh shit, this is a cool little like tick that you can like.
Yeah, and
catch.
It was constant. Yeah.
Yeah, every time.
It was pretty much when the cameras were off and he had to be like in some type of like a meeting or anything, or like some big wig was talking to him. He would like have that.
Yeah, I'm a has been.
Yeah.
The only thing that I wish they would have touched a little more on. So going into the movie, I had saw the trailers and I saw that there was a lot of scenes with Brad Pitt and the followers of Manson, and then the scene comes in where he says that he killed his wife and got away with it.
Yeah, and they didn't really.
And then so it shows the yacht. It shows him with a fucking harpoon gun, and she's nagging, and then the scene cuts. You assume he harpooned her because she wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Right.
But I thought, oh shit, they're gonna set up that he's a killer. What if he joins the Manson family and kills Leo, and then they go next door and kill the Tates?
Oh.
Or kill Sharon Tate, and that's my thinking in the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
But then as soon as he met the Manson family and he's like asking all the questions, I'm like, oh, this isn't going to go that route anymore. But I went into the movie thinking that like, oh, this is it. He's going to kill his best bud and fucking go with the hippies.
Did you think he killed his wife?
I think he did.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it's pretty much obvious that he did.
They didn't give you any other explanation that he didn't.
Right.
But
they didn't show it.
Right.
I guess just enough to keep it.
Yeah. But there's not much to...
Like I'm trying to figure out what, I mean, technically not everything's supposed to mean something, but at the same time, I'm trying to figure out why did they put that in there, just to kind of give him a sense of history. I don't know. Yeah,
there wasn't much of a backstory to him, nor like all you knew is that he was buddies with Brad Pitt. He enjoyed Rick because like he was buddies with Brad Pitt. He was buddies with Rick. Yeah, Leo's character. Yeah,
your motherfucking Rick Dalton.
So yeah, he was buddies with Rick, and that he enjoyed it because like I can live in your fucking LA house.
I could work with you, and if I'm not working, shit.
Yeah, I'm just chilling, basically, like living, like getting all your like amenities without being like a superstar.
Yeah. Like, hey, let's go watch your episode today. Let's drink some beers and.
So it just seemed like he was just like a yes man for Rick, but also like I got your back. Like we're cool.
Like, he was genuine. I wasn't sure in the beginning if he was genuine, but then after a while, it's like, obviously this guy's ride or die.
No. For the most part, it was a genuine friendship, you know. But it wasn't a deep friendship in terms of like they were fucking bros. But I was saying like they never got deep.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, they didn't.
Yeah,
no.
but it was just
if anything, it was Dalton. It would be like, oh man, I'm an ass.
Yeah.
Man.
So there wasn't much to him as like a person. Like you don't, all you know, he's a ride or die person for Rick, and that's
Right.
it.
Yeah, and he's just the ultimate action hero. He was. That's why I kept seeing him as. Yeah, that's what everyone wished they would be at that time. You know.
Right. Yeah. So it doesn't really give you any like sense that he didn't kill his wife. So I guess he could have done it. Especially when there was a part where he's with that the first girl he meets that's part of the Manson family.
Right, the hippie girl, and the way that puts her dirty ass fucking feet in his car.
I started laughing because I was just thought about Tarantino and his foot fetish.
Yeah, dude, that and when Sharon Tate puts her feet up on the seat, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But there's a dude next to me that was having a heart attack on that scene. He went, "Get this bitch's feet off my car!" Like he was losing it.
Yeah.
He could not. That entire scene, you could hear him mumbling to himself, like, "Fucking bitch with a goddamn feet on the car!" Like he was just losing it. I could not stop laughing. I'm like, dude, all right, I get it.
Yeah, so like there's that in that scene, she's just like, "Oh, do you want a blowjob?" And he's just like, "Oh, how old are you?" And she's like, "Old enough." And he's like, "Nah, you're not." And then he kind of mentions it like, "Oh, you know, like I've cried.
Police been trying to get me all my life."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, you kind of have a sense of like he's been in trouble before, or
that's true,
or it's just that incident that could be referring to.
I want to say, and maybe I'm misremembering, but I want to say he said all my life. So maybe you're right. Maybe before that he's into shit.
Yeah, he could have been that, or it could have been just that moment. Like he had trouble with that. But other than that, you don't really have a deep understanding of the character and sense of in terms of his like motivation to, you know, his wife is naggy, so fucking kill her. That's all you have really.
Yeah.
To go by.
So one of the things I really liked, one of the scenes I really loved was the whole Leo scene where he's with the little girl, and he's like the little girl's like real method, and he's just like, I guess, trying to learn from her at the same time, and then she's like, I don't know, it's just there was just something so innocent about her, like trying to act all like tough.
Yeah, and then she's like, I'm always in character. I don't say my real name.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, what's your real name?" "Oh, I'm whatever, Lancer," because she's part of like the ranch or something like that.
That's funny because like the part where I always laughed at the part because like the part where like he has that huge, which he acts amazing in, obviously, where they do that one scene with her and like she's like basically like held hostage.
Right. Yeah. The one where he does the good scene.
Yeah, he throws her on the ground and then like they cut. And then he's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry, did I throw you on the ground?" She's like, "Yeah, it's okay, I have knee pads on."
I have knee pads on, right.
And then she's like, "That's the best acting I've ever seen."
Yeah.
I just laugh at that part because she's like 8. It's just like, what have you seen?
How many have you seen? Yeah. And then he just starts crying. He's like, "God damn, Rick fucking Dalton."
Yeah. That part was funny.
But I love the scene before that too, where he fucks up. He completely fucks up the scene. He's like, "You fuck up the scene." And he just... And it took me out of it a little bit, but it was freaking Timothy Oliphant playing as the Western guy. And that guy is always playing
a Western, yeah.
He was in Justified. He's in Deadwood. I saw him as that character, and I'm like, I know he's playing as a real actor in history, because that was a real show. But I'm just like, man, you kind of took me out of it, adding him to it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The same way when they put Kurt Russell as the stunt guy. He's the stunt coordinator, and I'm like, he's a stunt man in Death Proof. So I'm wondering if there's something to that.
Oh, okay.
Either there's the whole all Tarantino movies are connected and he's a descendant of him, or a little more meta, which is that Death Proof is a movie inside that universe.
Oh, got it.
Because he's a stuntman playing as a stuntman in that movie.
Right.
And, which is kind of funny, the one that played as his wife, the blonde chick, the one that hated Brad Pitt's character, she is... Uma Thurman's stunt double, and she's in Death Proof. She's the one hanging off the car with the belt.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they're both stunt people in the movie. And
right.
So what if the Death Proof is a movie they made as stunt people? So
I get it.
They're the movie within the movie. So it's just like extra meta. You could even like go into it.
Yeah, go into, yeah.
So that was one theory I saw, and I'm like, that's pretty good.
I don't know. It didn't take me out the movie seeing them. It's just because like Brad Pitt and Leo, I see them in everything, so that automatically takes me out.
Okay.
Like once I see them,
because I guess what took me out is I always try to connect the movies together.
oh yeah.
So I was already like, oh my god, he's the stuntman in this. Like immediately I'm thinking, wait, Death Proof. Wait, what's his name? Is his name the same guy as Death Proof? No, Death Proof. He's stuntman Mike. He's not Mike in this one. Yeah, I was going nuts like thinking about it, and I'm like, I'm overthinking it. Let me just get back into the movie. But I mean, I did like. So I don't know too much about like that era of Hollywood, but I did like who they chose as Steve McQueen. He was the one at the party.
Yeah, very brief, but you told me that he
super
looks
brief, dude. He looks identical.
Yeah,
The guy they chose, identical to him. So, but I did like that scene. So it was like that single take of them getting in the car, them driving down, and then they make it to the mansion, which is like, you know, next door.
Playboy Mansion, yeah.
Yeah, and then they get down and they start partying, and all that was like almost a single take. I don't know. I just love the way it looked and the music choice and everything. That was one of the moments that really put me into that era.
Yeah, and every song was from that time, right?
Yeah.
Every song, what that movie does really well. Like we haven't spoke about it in the spoiler portion, but it just everything about that movie is about that time. Like
Yes.
everything. There's not one thing that is a year later, or it's down to even the movie's broken down into like the span of it happens in months. So like it's everything.
It starts in February and it ends in August.
Yeah, so it's everything just in those spans of those few months.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love that because like it was just perfect. It literally was like just a transportation machine that time.
I agree with you saying that the era was a character, the place.
Yeah, because everything was about that time. The smoking, everybody smoking everywhere.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
And like so you know what I thought going in, because he was coughing a lot, and I was like, oh, what if he has cancer?
I kind of thought that too.
And I was like, what if he dies or something? I'm not sure if cancer was yet, like, I think probably by that time it was already said like it's bad for you.
Maybe.
But they were still pushing like, hey, you got to smoke because you're a man kind of vibe.
Maybe, yeah.
So I thought he was gonna die of cancer.
Yeah, I could see that. I actually thought at least he would be coughing up blood and shit.
Yeah.
Because there were times, especially when he was a little girl, he's like lighting up.
Yeah, and he would cough like a ton.
Yeah, and I'm like, this guy's not gonna make it. I mean, maybe that's something that will happen eventually. I guess that's what they were just kind of showing.
Like leading up to, yeah.
That could be something. Yeah, that could be something the movie was showcasing. Like, hey, look how much he smokes, and look how fucked up he is.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, smoking's bad, kids.
Yeah.
Don't forget that one.
Yeah, and it was just I just loved that. Just everything about it. The color scheme, the yellows, the greens, the style.
I loved every time they showed him in a movie, you can see that he was acting like he was acting. You know what I mean?
He was over exaggerated.
Right.
Like, yeah.
The way he exaggerated was really good, especially like that one is practically Inglourious Bastards. It was like the 12th Fist of McCluskey or something. The one that everybody loved him in, where he got the flamethrower in. Oh man, like I was just like, oh, this is also referencing his other movies because it was clearly referencing Inglourious Bastards. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, overall, it really is just a love letter to movies in that era, and I enjoyed it.
I like the part where like you see him testing it out, I guess, like behind the scenes. And he's like, "Hey, can we turn it down? Like it's too hot." Like, no, it's a flamethrower.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, because he was talking to Al Pacino's character, the agent. He's like, "How did it feel?" "Oh, it felt great." And then it cuts to the reality, and yeah, he was like, "It's really hot. Fuck, damn." Like,
do you think? I'm not sure about Brad Pitt, but do you think Leo's gonna get nominated for this movie?
Yeah, I think so. Will he win? That's up in the air.
Yeah,
I doubt it. But I mean, I don't know who he's up against. But
you think this movie should have came out like in the fall?
No, I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I think it's fine. It came out during Sundance, so that was the best time. That's when all the reviewers are gonna watch it. And as far as I know, it's like really good on Rotten Tomatoes right now. So yeah, it'll definitely get some Oscar love for screenplay.
I think it should for sure.
Leo's acting, yes. I don't know about Brad Pitt's.
No, I don't think so. Because Brad Pitt,
he was cool, but he didn't act as like
I've seen that Brad Pitt before.
Yes, you're right. I have seen that Brad Pitt before.
I mean, that's him like a lot of times.
It's him most. Yeah. Hey, just be cool. I got you. It's Brad Pitt being cool in the 60s.
Yeah, pretty much it.
But Leo definitely fucking killed it.
Yeah,
I thought he was great.
Yeah, for sure. It should get a nod for like cinematography, like costume design.
Yeah, definitely that.
Set design
for sure.
Is there a set design?
Yeah, a production design.
Production design. Yeah.
It'll definitely get most of those nominated.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it'll win, but it deserves it definitely. I would say it's one of the better One of the best movies of the year. Not the best, but one of the best.
Okay.
So yeah, I know you give me a look like the
I
fuck.
was like, what's the best? But let's not go on a weird tangent.
No, we're not gonna go into all that. It's not the best though.
Okay.
But I mean that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to say about this.
Yeah.
What about you?
No, I think you nailed it. Overall, good movie. A bit too long for my taste, but solid.
Cool. Alrighty, guys.
All right. So we'll catch you guys next time on another episode of Popcorn Heroes.
Bye-bye.
Later.